Chapter 61:17. If Jacob had a better psychological quality, he would naturally say that he was a colleague from the University of the Elderly at this time. And there is a high probability that this matter will be over. But Jacob is the kind of player with extremely poor psychological quality, who will panic when facing battle, and will be in chaos when he panics. Elaine just asked casually, and cold sweat was already flowing down his forehead. So, while he glanced nervously at Elaine, he couldn't help but stammered. No one. Elaine realized something was wrong and frowned. What did I ask you, Professor Han? You say no one? What do you mean? Who is Professor Han? What invitation? What is going on? As she said that, she saw cold sweat flowing from Jacob's ears and temples, and immediately asked, Jacob, why are you nervous? What are you hiding from me? Jacob was extremely flustered, but he could only bite the bullet and explain. I really have nothing to hide from you. What am I hiding from you? Elaine stared intently. Staring at Jacob, Jacob dared not look at her. So he could only pretend to focus on looking ahead. Elaine said at this time, Jacob, you can't hide things on your face. You must have done something behind my back. After saying that, she immediately opened the armrest box to take a look. Jacob didn't dare to let her see it, although he hadn't opened the invitation and looked at it. The names of the bride and groom must have been on the invitation. If Elaine saw the words Han Mai Ching, the matter would completely explode. So, he had no choice but to go all out and press the armrest box firmly with his elbow, saying nothing to let Elaine open it. But the more he behaved like this, the more suspicious Elaine felt and the more she wanted to find out. So, she gritted her teeth and yelled at Jacob. I'm warning you, Jacob, if you know what's going on, take your arm away from me right now. And let me see what's going on. Otherwise, today's situation I'm not done with you about this matter. Jacob was anxious and afraid. While continuing to hold on, he stubbornly resisted and said, Oh, it's really nothing. It's just an invitation sent to me by a colleague who is getting married. What's so bad about an invitation? Elaine said sternly, it's just a broken invitation. Why can't you let me see it? I want to see it today, so get out of my way and hurry up. Jacob shook his head repeatedly, don't read it. It's really just a wedding invitation. Seeing that he was stubborn and refused to let go, Elaine was so angry that she suddenly leaned on his right arm and bit it fiercely. Jacob groaned and subconsciously pulled his hand back, shaking his left hand as well, and the car also made an S shape on the highway. Jacob was so frightened that he quickly turned back in the right direction and let the vehicle continue to drive back to its original lane. He cursed without thinking, R-U-S-C-K. Don't you know this is a highway? Do you want to die? Elaine, ignoring him, took advantage of the moment to open the armrest box and pulled out a bright red invitation inside. As she opened the invitation, she muttered in her mouth, It's really a wedding invitation. Damn it, Jacob, you are so damn boring. If someone sends you an invitation, why do you have to hide it? Are you having an affair with his wife? Look at how nervous you are. After saying that, she opened the invitation. She also has life experience. When reading the invitation, she first looks at the signature. Anyway, the text of the invitation is nothing more than the same old polite words. And then write the time and place of the wedding. She doesn't care about any of this. She only cares about Professor Han and why Jacob is so nervous about it. Therefore, within a second of opening the invitation, she saw two names, one was Pollard Watt and the other was Han Mai Ching. Han Mai Ching. Seeing these three words, Elaine felt as if three knives were gouging out her eyes. And Jacob was also emboldened. He knew that the situation was imminent. So with the last glimmer of hope, within a second or two of Elaine opening the invitation, he reached out and snatched the invitation from Elaine's hand like a poisonous snake biting someone. He grabbed it and immediately lowered the driver's side window and threw the invitation out the window. The Cullinan was traveling on the highway at a speed of more than 100 kilometers per hour. As soon as the invitation was thrown out of the window, it disappeared instantly. Jacob thought that in such a short period of time, there was a high probability that Elaine would not even have time to see the names. Now that the invitation is thrown out of the window by himself, it is regarded as dead and unconfirmed. At this moment, Elaine came back to her senses from the sudden situation. Seeing that the invitation had been thrown away by Jacob, she slowly shook her head and said with a smile, "Oh, Jacob, you are really interesting. But it's just an invitation." "Well, isn't it normal for someone to invite you to a wedding banquet? What do you have to hide from me?" Jacob thought that Elaine didn't see the signature, so he quickly said, "Oh, let me tell you the truth. I don't have a good relationship with the person who is getting married, so I don't want to go at all." After that, he added, "I didn't want to accept this invitation in the first place. Mr. Wu from our club took it upon himself to get it for me, and he put it in my car on his own initiative. I just thought it would be fine if I didn't know about it. So there is no use keeping this invitation, so I might as well just throw it away." "Oh." Elaine nodded in sudden realization and said, "It turns out that the invitation was sent by someone you don't know well. Then it's strange for you to say this. You are not familiar with them. Why did they send you the invitation?"